Welcome to News in Brief from Marjayat Global Network. Daily meetings of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi. The Grand Shia Islamic jurist Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq Shirazi holds in-person meetings with large numbers of people, including religious scholars, university figures, and social and cultural activists, as well as public groups of people on a daily basis. In these meetings, the attendees report on their activities, explain their views, and listen to the guidelines and advices of the Grand Jurist. Iraqi pilgrims meet Grand Ayatollah Shirazi. Some Iraqi pilgrims from the province of Nasiriyah visited the Grand Shia jurist Ayatollah Shirazi at the Central Office of His Eminence in Holy Qum, Iran. During this meeting, the guests listened to the advices and guidelines of the Grand Jurist. Further, the Iraqi pilgrims were joined by Sayyid Muhammad Ali Shirazi, the respectful son of the late Grand Jurist Ayatollah Sayyid Muhammad Shirazi. Office of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Holy Karbala hosts multinational pilgrims. Over the past few days, the Office of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Holy Karbala welcomed groups of Shias and pilgrims of Imam Hussein, peace be upon him, from all nationalities. These pilgrims, who were coming from different Islamic and non-Islamic countries, held meetings with the members of the Grand Jurist Office and talked about different subjects. The members of the office emphasized on the knowledge of the Ahlul Bayt and preaching the Ahlul Bayt's culture across the world, especially in non-Muslim countries. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi's representative in Bahrain hosts religious dignitaries. In the past few days, the office of Sheikh Abdul Shahid al-Satwawi, the representative of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Bahrain, was hosting religious scholars, speakers, and religious activists. The conditions of the Shias in Bahrain and around the world were discussed in these meetings. Nonviolence Incorporation calls for halt to anti-human rights measures in Palestine. Nonviolence Incorporation condemned the violation of human rights by the Israeli regime in Palestine in a message. The message reads, Nonviolence Incorporation calls on the international community and all human rights bodies to intervene and stop the violations of human rights against the Palestinians. Everyone has witnessed the humiliation and tyranny of the Israeli regime towards the defenseless Palestinian nation, and as well as continued repression and arrest and torture by the rulers of Tel Aviv, who strictly pursue their expansionist policies in the region. Reports have confirmed that the Israeli regime plans to revenge on the large number of Palestinians in its prisons. It is for a long time that this regime insists on reviving on the Palestinian nation by the use of repression and crackdown, and polluting the sanctity of the sacred mosque. Aimed at silence of the international community, the Israeli rulers continue to their violation of human rights in order to force the Palestinian nation to their knees. In other parts of this message, we read, the Nonviolence Incorporation condemns the oppression of the Israeli regime against the Palestinian nation and calls for a halt to dominating policies of Israeli governments over Muslim sacred sites and the killings of innocent people in past days. Students from Baghdad University meet director of Attiyar Shirazi office in Baghdad. Over the past few days, some students from Baghdad University met with Mr. Ali Yasserbai, the director of Attiyar Shirazi office in the city. During this meeting, the participants talked about the viewpoints of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi on different subjects and issues. Also, there were discussions about the implementation of program and action mechanism in Baghdad University. Meanwhile, both sides emphasized on recruiting as many students as possible to disseminate the culture and thoughts of the pure Ahlul Bayt in the future.